Agartha is believed to be a large, hidden kingdom inside the Earth, not in the hot, liquid core that science talks about. In most versions of the story, Agartha is a very advanced and peaceful civilization. It is completely separate from the people who live on the surface. It has crystal cities, glowing energy, and people who live in peace with nature and spiritual forces. For those who believe in it, even as a symbol or idea, Agartha is more than just a hidden world underground. It's a place untouched by war, greed, or ego. In this society, knowledge guides life. The idea of Agartha in the West started with a French writer named Alexandre Saint-Yves d'Alvedre. He lived in the late 1800s and was very interested in secret knowledge, politics, and spiritual ideas. Also, he thought there was a deeper meaning behind how the world works. And in 1886, he wrote a book called Mission of India in Europe. In that book, he introduced the idea of Agartha to the Western world. Saint-Yves said Agartha was a real place deep underground. A long time ago, wise and ancient people went there to hide. This happened during a dark period in history, which in Hindu tradition is called the Kali Yuga. According to him, Agartha wasn't destroyed. It just stayed hidden, waiting for the right time to come back. He said Agartha was a huge city with millions of people. It was ruled by a leader who had both spiritual wisdom and total power. The whole society followed a system called synarchy. That means everything, religion, science, and politics, worked together in harmony. For Saint-Yves, this was better than the chaos he saw in modern governments. What made Saint-Yves' claim even more unusual was how he said he learned about Agartha. He claimed that he studied with a mysterious man named Haji Sharif. Saint-Yves described him as a high-ranking spiritual teacher from the East. He also said that through Haji Sharif and through what he called journeys via astral projection, he was able to directly access the hidden kingdom. He wrote about it with confidence and detail, as if he had truly been there. And maybe he was. At first, this book was not meant to be shared with the public. Saint-Yves supposedly destroyed all copies except for a few. Some believe he did this because he feared he had revealed too much, but one of those copies survived. In 1910, after his death, the book was published by Gérard Encausse, who was better known in occult circles as Papoose. From that point on, the myth of Agartha began to grow. However, Saint-Yves was not the first person to write about a hidden world beneath the earth. Before him, the French colonial official Louis Jacoliot had written about a mysterious kingdom called Agartha. He said he found it in ancient Indian manuscripts. But that's not all. The story of Agartha doesn't begin and end with a single book, or even a single culture. It's part of a pattern that seems to echo across centuries and continents. Long before Agartha had a name in the West, ancient civilizations were already speaking about hidden realms beneath the earth. They were describing them in ways strikingly similar to one another, even though these cultures supposedly had no contact. Let's start in the East. In Buddhist and Hindu cosmology, there is a sacred mountain called Mount Meru. It is also known as Sumeru or Mahameru. This mountain is said to stand at the center of all things. Ancient texts describe it as a giant pillar of reality. If you approach from the east, you'll see peaks of crystal. From the south, the peaks appear as lapis lazuli. From the west, they shine like rubies. And from the north, they gleam with gold. It's so large that the sun and moon are said to move around it. But what lies below Meru is just as fascinating. Old Indian texts speak of a place called Patala. Patala is a world below the earth made up of several realms. These are not places of punishment like the Western idea of hell. Patala is described as beautiful and full of life. Ancient Indians wrote about its forests, palaces, and glowing jewels. The beings who live there include serpent-like Nagas, as well as Danavas and Rakshasas. They are said to be highly advanced in both technology and spiritual power. Some stories say these beings are wise and full of knowledge. Others say they can be hostile to humans. Later Buddhist teachings also talk about these underground worlds. The Nagas become linked to hidden water palaces and secret caves beneath Asia, especially in Tibet and the Himalayas. Monks from the region tell stories about tunnels, shrines, and underground cities under their monasteries. They say only those with special training can reach them. In Tibet, there is a story about Shambhala, another hidden kingdom. People often mix it up with Agartha or say they are connected. According to the Kalachakra Tantra, Shambhala is a place of peace, wisdom, and enlightenment. It cannot be reached in normal ways, and only those who are spiritually ready can find the path. But things get even more interesting. In some esoteric traditions, Shambhala and Agartha are seen as twin realms. One is linked to divine order, the other is linked to raw power. Some call them the right hand and the left hand. Others say that Shambhala exists on a higher, spiritual level, while Agartha is more physical. In both cases, they are said to be hidden inside or beneath the earth, and both are described as protectors of ancient knowledge. Now let's cross oceans and deserts and head into the highlands of North America. Among the Hopi people of Arizona, there are old legends about a time when the surface of the earth was destroyed twice, first by fire and then by ice. During these disasters, the Hopi say they were helped by celestial beings. These beings led them to the ant people, who took them into large underground chambers where they could survive. These ant people, called the Anu Sinom, taught the Hopi how to store food, how to grow crops in the dark, and how to live in harmony with nature. The Hopi also say that ants have narrow waist today because they shared so much of their own food with the Hopi during those hard times. Then there's also a curious detail in their language. The Hopi word for ant is Anu, and their word for friends is Naki. Put together, they form the word Anunnaki. This is a striking parallel to the ancient Sumerian beings who, in some versions, came from the sky or from deep within the earth to guide early humans. And this idea that advanced, non-human or semi-human beings live beneath the earth and occasionally interact with us repeats again and again. These myths aren't exactly the same, but they have clear similarities. They all talk about a world beneath the surface and beings with advanced knowledge. But how is it possible that so many different civilizations, living in different times and places, told such similar stories? Maybe they were in contact with ancient cultures that didn't disappear but went underground. And if that's true, then there must be space beneath our feet for an advanced civilization. And that brings us to the Hollow Earth theory. Some of the first ideas that the Earth might not be solid go back to the 1600s. At that time, scientists and philosophers were trying to explain strange things, like the Earth's magnetic field. One of the first to suggest a hollow Earth was Edmund Halley. He was the English astronomer known for Halley's Comet. In 1692, Halley said the Earth might be made of several layers like spheres inside each other. He believed these layers spun at different speeds, and he meant it seriously. He even thought there could be air between them, maybe even life. He also said light might come from deep inside the Earth. In the early 1800s, an American named John Cleves Sims Jr. went even further. He believed the Earth was hollow and had huge openings at the north and south poles. He said these were doors to the inner world. He believed people could actually travel inside the Earth. Because of that, He spent years trying to raise money for an expedition. But unfortunately for him, he found nothing. Later, in the early 20th century, Marshall Gardner built on this theory and introduced an even more elaborate vision. He claimed that the planet was entirely hollow and contained a central sun, a smaller glowing sphere suspended in the middle of the Earth. According to Gardner, this inner sun provided warmth and light for a lush inner ecosystem. He said there was a whole ecosystem down there, with plants, animals, and maybe even people, and in that world everything was different. Gravity inside the Earth doesn't work the same as it does on the surface. Some theories say that as you move into the inner shell, gravity changes direction. Instead of pulling you straight down, it starts pulling you toward the inside wall of the Earth. So there's no longer one clear down. Directions start to lose meaning. Movement feels lighter and easier. Some people also believe that time flows differently in this inner world. According to those who go inside, 1 minute there can feel like an hour on the surface. Clocks stop working normally. Time seems to stretch or shrink depending on where you are. The closer you get to the inner sun, the more it feels like time is bending. In this version of the hollow Earth, the planet is shaped like a toroid, something like a donut or a spinning ring. In this shape, energy moves in a constant loop. It flows in through one pole and out through the other. Some say this energy is what keeps the inner sun floating in the center. It also helps support life inside the Earth. This energy might also explain strange things that explorers have noticed near the poles, like compasses that spin or freeze, or places where GPS and navigation tools stop working.